Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. TGIF. All right, it's Friday. The weekend is here. Hope you have some awesome plans for the weekend. Today's tutorial is going to be on a new feature that I discovered because somebody online was talking about it. It comes with the MPC 3.7 firmware update, and it's called Articulations. It's drum kit articulations. So what are articulations? So when you have an acoustic drum kit and the drummer hits, any of the drums, the snare, the hi-hat, etc., they don't always play it in the exact same way. Sometimes there'll be a double hit on purpose, and which is called like a flam, or they'll just let their drumstick bounce on the snare, kind of making a little roll, or they'll add a trill or a rim shot, or they'll do a little ta-ka-ta, So all of those things are articulations. It makes it sound, it gives more realism to it, right? And so what Akai did with their new firmware update is they added the possibility to add articulations to the drum pads of a drum kit. So today I'm going to show you how we can access those articulations and apply them to a drum kit and use them in a beat. All right, let's get to it. All right, so let's go to the main page. And if you don't have a drum kit loaded up already, you can load one up. I have this hip hop kit called Living in A flat. It's called Living, JW Living, and it's from my lo-fi jazz expansion, the Akai expansion, lo-fi jazz. I love that expansion. It's so, all the samples and one shots and loops are really awesome in that. I highly recommend it. So I loaded that up, and let's take a listen to it. Okay, beautiful sounds, beautiful samples. What I want to do is I want to add some articulations on the rim shot here. It's kind of a snare rim shot, and also on the hi-hat. Right now you can hear it's just a single hit. And I want to add like a little what we call a ghost note, where when you hit a drum and your drumstick kind of bounces off of the drum, kind of making a delay effect. Okay, and it gives this a really natural groove to it, and you'll see in a second what it sounds like. All right, so we have our drum kit loaded up, and now we want to go from the main page. You want to hit the edit button here, and that takes us to it usually defaults to global, the global page, where you can adjust your individual pads, the level, the panning, the tuning, etc., etc. You can decide to do a one shot or note on, note off. This is where you also select poly versus mono for your one shot. And so from this page, where we want to go is we want to go to the effects. Okay, so hit that effects, and this is your standard effects view that you get and that you're used to seeing, where you can load up to four different insert effects into a pad, which is pretty cool. But if you notice here, there's a little square under the effects button. That means that there's another page sequentially after this page. So if you hit effects again, it takes you to this next page, which is the new articulations page. So you can see up here it's written articulations, and this is the view you get. So you have three parts here. This first third here is where we're actually going to choose the articulations and the speed at which they are played after the original hit. And then you have the second third and this last part here, this third, where you have all of these dynamic effects that you can apply to the articulation. And this is a lot, and if you look at one of these effects and double click in here, you can pick any of these dynamic effects that you want and adjust the parameter level, whatever the parameter may be for that particular effect. So very powerful stuff. But the interesting stuff is here in the articulations. So where are the articulations? So right now you see it's written here none. So there's no articulations at default. And it's hard to see, but when you press that, there's actually a rectangle there, a menu. And you double click this, and you see you get all of the articulations menu and submenus. So there are just so many. So you have your default articulations, which is like drag, flam, post ghost, basic roll, etc. We'll go over some of these in a second. Go back. Then they have them organized into groups like note repeats, standard rudiments, dotted rudiments, rolls, pitched rolls, etc., etc. So you can experiment and play with these, but I recommend going into the default articulations here. Let's try some of these out and see what it sounds like. So I'll start with drag, and I can also toggle with my with the main dial here. So drag. So you hear it's kind of a drag effect. If you're a drummer, you know what it is. Flam, which is a very quick double note. And just to show you guys, you can adjust the speed of the articulation. So I can bring it to half speed, and now you hear it more. And if that's not enough, you hear the delay. There's a longer delay. If that's not enough, you can select the speed here and then bring it down a little bit, like 59%. So now you hear that it's much slower. Similarly, you can affect the stereo or mono of the sound. At first I thought these was of the articulation itself, but it seems like it's affecting the sound and the articulation together. You know, that's what I'm hearing. I may be wrong. Let me know if you have an idea. Same thing with the dynamics. You can play with the dynamics of the pad. I really don't feel that the dynamics are doing anything, but again, I may not be doing it properly, so let me know if you know how it works better. But it also could be, you know, with the articulation that's chosen, these settings may work a little differently. So you know, I worked on this before making the video, and I liked the best articulation I liked is post ghost, and that's when a drummer hits the drum or a rimshot or a hi-hat and kind of lets the stick bounce in tempo, and so you get this little softer ghost note. And so that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to set my dynamics back to like 200% just to get full dynamic range. And my speed I'm going to put to 68%. And right now it's at 1x speed. I'm going to bring it down to 2 because I'm going to do a slower beat that you'll see in a second. So it's going to sound something like this. See, right? You get the idea. So instead of doing that with your, you know, manually, like double hitting it, you just hit it once and it goes tap ba ba ba. All right, and then if you want, you can add, you know, different effects to that pad as well. Again, these are mostly dynamic effects, I think. I'm happy with how it sounds for now. And now I'm going to go to another pad, the hi-hat, and you can see the pad is indicated up here. Right now I'm on A2. You hit the pad you want to change, and right now it shows A3. That is my closed hi-hat. And you could see I already adjusted some of the settings here in the effects. I added a high pass filter to have it a little bit more crisp and high frequency. I also added a soft clipper to give it a little more power, because I always find that the hi-hats on these samples are really mixed low, and I always have to boost it, but it could be my hearing as well, you know, old age. So right now I have it on 1x, and these are the default settings. I'm also going to put it to a post ghost note. Oops, I passed it. There it is, post ghost. So it's a very fast one. You can hear I'm going to slow it down. And I'm going to slow it down to the same speed as the snare hit. So it's like a drummer going ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta. All right, so that's the effect there. So, you can change all the articulations of all your pads. I haven't tried it on an actual sample yet to see how it is, but it's like one of these things. But usually it's for something really percussive, right? Like the hi-hat, or you can do it on a bass drum as well. That might be interesting. In any case, let's go back to the main page. And now we have those articulations set on the snare and the hi-hat. So let's try out a beat. All right, here we go. All right, so you get the idea. Maybe I was going a little bit slower there. Maybe I can go a little faster because these samples aren't as long. So I may have to go back to the sample page, and I think I'm going to speed up these hits a little bit. Maybe bring it to 80%. Same thing with my hi-hat. Bring that to 80. So I can go a bit faster. All right, and last thing, so there isn't like a triplet time correct to this, so I guess you would try to adjust it with the speed to give it more of a triplet effect. But that's basically it. This is, you could spend like several hours playing with this, adding articulations to all of your pads. It's a lot of fun. This is one way to do it. Another way, which many people have shown online, and I think I've shown in one of my videos as well, is you can use layers, and you can, each pad could take up to 8 layers, and you can adjust what layer gets triggered based on the velocity of how hard you hit your pad. And so if you hit your pad normally, you might hear just a normal hi-hat, but if you hit it hard and you have a second layer that's triggered with a faster velocity, then you can get a delayed articulation. So that's another way to do it. Third way to do it is the great concierge Conan himself from the Crates Motel. You should definitely check out the Crates Motel YouTube videos. They are awesome tutorials, and basically he's shown a simple way to do it, which is you can just add a delay effect on the pad, and that way you can pan it, you can time it exactly how you want. You can bring it down in velocity, and so that ghost note really sounds soft. So anyways, there's many ways to do it, but this is just a cool cool way to do the articulations. All right, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.